Well, for the first time in 8 weeks, Argyle won in the league. At the scene of one of Argyle's proudest days in their recent history, Vale Park once again became the place the Green Army are beginning to love. Not quite the same euphoria of 2023, but a whole lot of relief, as you saw in the celebrations there. A first win for Argyle since the 27th of September. It meant they leapfrogged Port Vale off the foot of the table. A much needed result, that is for sure. And it means we get to have an Argyle analysis where we are talking about positive things and a win, ultimately, which is great. And it is great to be joined, as always, by Aaron Cusack to do that. Aaron, we didn't think it would take as long as this for the next win when we were here talking about Burton Albion and those 4 goals and everything. But it did, but that's finally come to an end.
It has, and it was a sense of relief, wasn't it? You know, it was 3 huge points that were needed that allows them to prepare for the following 3 games, I think, at home coming up. So it just gives them that springboard to potentially reset and go again. And, you know, it was a big sigh of relief. You could just see in the clip there with Cleverley at the end that everybody associated to the football club needed.
And inevitably, this is what the Port Vale fans will be thinking, it was a former Valiant that got the winning goal, Laurent Talai.
Yeah, it was. You know, it was inevitable, wasn't it? I mean, I don't know if that puts him single, leader of the goal scoring charts, Charlie, but he's certainly up there. We knew that before kick-off. And what he does really well is he works a bit of space, and we'll go into a bit more detail a little bit later in the show, but a poacher's finish. Instinctive, something that he thrives on. And I think they've got to understand the importance of those types of deliveries and the way in which he scores. And I'd like to think that they can push on from that, because he's an instinctive goal scorer. He's a poacher. He likes to react quickly to not allow defences to settle. And that's, for me, that's him at his best.
Yeah. The other part of that change of shape or team selection was Argyle basically had 4 centre-backs at the back. Cornell Such and Brendan Galloway as the 2 full-backs. See Ross and Mitchell in the middle. And that was another area that was impressive from Argyle.
Yeah.
Winning duels.
Yeah, absolutely. They winning the space. They did this quite well for the 40 minutes at Huddersfield, but what we've got here, an example. The red area is your contact zone, so you've got to win those moments. But ideally, they'll be looking to clear high, wide and long. So the white area is a minimum is where they're trying to get the ball clear to. So I think this is Ross. So great contact there out of the box. That's what you want. This one here is not the perfect contact, but it's a challenge nonetheless. And I think of the 8 corners that Port Vale had, Charlie, we had a first or second contact on 6 of them. So for me, that's a good example of winning those moments. What I want to do here is pay attention as the ball gets cleared. Pay attention to this box here. It's very easy to everyone just ball watch, but I like the reorganisation of the melee of players in here. So just pay attention to them all. Look, they're looking around, they're sensing danger. The ball doesn't even make it that far, but they're set. So for me, that's ultra concentration as those balls are coming in. We make a contact there. I'm not sure we get first contact, but we definitely get the second contact with Ross. So anticipating where the ball might go. And as I've said, 6 of those 8 corners, we got the first contact or at least the second contact. That's what you need as a minimum if you want to win football matches, of course.
Yeah. Let's have a look at some of the other games then and results from the weekend. Peterborough's big win over Stockport actually was earlier on in the week, and that lifted them out of that sort of bottom of the table melee. Really eye-catching result at Oakwell, with Barnsley beating Luton 5-0. Northampton, who come to Argyle on Saturday, actually took the lead against Cardiff, but they lost it by 3-1 in the end. A bit of a thriller at Wickham, winning out against Lincoln. The results, mean Argyle are lifted off the bottom. They've just kept about in touch with the teams that are around them in the table, which is important, I think, because with Peterborough's win and with Blackpool getting a little bit of form, there was a worry that if Argyle had lost that game, there might have been a bit of a gap, but they've just about kept themselves there, which I know it's still not even halfway through the season, but it's important.
Yeah, they've got to stay connected, haven't they? The last thing you want is to be cut adrift. We know that 4 go down in this league, so that in itself is a challenge. So they've just got to. It's a bit like we said last year and the year before. They've almost got to chop the league up into mini leagues and go, right, okay, let's look at the 8 teams, including ourselves, around us. Where are we in relation to them? When we play them, you've got to take points off teams around you. That's vital. And I think we're probably, we've won a couple and lost a couple against the teams around us, so that they'll be looking at that as well. For me, it's just one game at a time. Focus intently at the weekend. Let's get a point against Northampton. I'd like to think we've got enough quality to get 3. Do the homework and let's see what unfolds.